Greetings and welcome to another excellent episode of Dapper's Playhouse, Spooktober style. Day number 8, 8 days a week, that's right, you know what I'm saying. Without further ado, let's get right to some spooky. Yep, that's creepy.
We're gonna have so much fun together. Well, just you wait. Soon you'll be screaming without you. See? We're all having fun now.
That's spooky hour. There's not a place you want to end up. Or maybe it is.
Hey now, there's no need to be like that. We're gonna have so much fun screaming without you. See? We're all having fun now.
Yep, gotta do it.
I was chilling on my bed, like watching something, and I look up. This is what I see. Can you see that?
Yeah, right.
Can you see him?
Yeah, could
I
be right the hell
know.
out.
That scared the absolute shit out of me.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I gasped. I went.
You gotta change
Oh
that
my
up.
God, I gotta put him somewhere else.
Yeah, I think so.
And now I can't even watch my show. Like, I'm just staring at Sungwa. He's staring at me. I'm staring at him.
I
I
hope.
can't stop.
So. Interesting.
Reckon you can make me some biscuits. Mustard's good on them leg. Thank you.
Man, that's an evil looking cat. Good lord, sling blade cat.
Good evening. Yes, I am back. And also, let me show you guys something. If you Google me, it says I'm an internet personality. I don't know where that picture came from. That's not me, but hey, that's pretty cool. I got post more since I am this internet personality that Google says I am. Tonight's scary story is called Why is Sonya Wearing Blue? Ah! No, I'm just kidding. Tonight's scary story is called The Blind Child. Let's begin. Stabbing. Sylvia pointed a trembling finger at my brother Arthur. Her milky, unseeing eyes gleamed in his direction, and his wife, Agnes, trembled with indignation from across the table. My husband's face colored as he dropped his fork and dragged our daughter back into her bedroom, scolding her as they went. The rest of the night was awkward, and the pep in our conversation never recovered. 2 weeks later, Agnes was stabbed to death in her parking lot. An inebriated college student found her, almost vomited all over her, and called the cops. My brother swore that he bore no ill will against my daughter, but I could tell that he was lying. One day, the middle-aged woman who taught my daughter how to read her Braille called me. "Ma'am, I don't know what's going on, but your daughter's been whispering electrocution, electrocution for the past half hour, and it's starting to distract her from her lessons. Could you please talk to her?" I talked to my daughter. Sylvia, in her 9-year-old lack of understanding, told me it was just a cool new word she learned at school. The death of an electrician made headlines the following week. It was a freak accident involving tangled wires and a bucket of water. Sylvia's teacher's face was blurred for privacy, but her voice was as familiar as anything to me. Sylvia's teacher's husband was the one who died and got electrocuted. Sylvia's teacher said in the newspaper, "He was my partner, my soulmate." While my husband was working late, I called Sylvia into the living room. "Honey, is there anything Mommy should know?" She hesitated. "Honey, you know you can talk to me." She denied it once more. "I have no secrets from you, Mommy." My husband walked into the living room with his hair tousled and his eyes distant. Instead of rushing to hug her dad, Sylvia simply turned towards him. Fire, she said. My heart stopped. Every time Sylvia said something like that, it was the person's partner who died. And of that reason, too. A fire? Was Sylvia merely making predictions, or was she putting a curse on me for snooping in on her business? Why, this devil's child. I grew paranoid. I checked the appliances and electronics constantly and cleared the house of any fire hazards. That was my life for over the next few days. All the while, I kept my eyes on Sylvia. Sylvia. I had grown almost hateful towards my own daughter. My husband came home one night, wounded and blackened with soot. While I sat in the living room and Sylvia listened to the radio beside me. What's the matter? I asked. He gulped. One of my colleagues, her house caught on fire. She was trapped in, but I managed to escape. That turned the gears in my head. What were you doing in her house? The expression on my husband's face was a sufficient admission of guilt. I opened my mouth to speak no, to scream, but a smaller voice from beside me looked at me and whispered, poisoning. I hope you enjoyed that story.
Creepy.
And I will be posting more for spooky season. Stay tuned for more spooky stories. Stay spooky. Bye.
Spooky.
Bunch of bones scattered. It's like a trail just leading me.
Oh.
That was a bone I just broke. Bro, is that my fork? Hello? What the f- Yep, nope, I'm good. Oh, parkour. Oh. Oh, that's briar bushes. Nope. Not the way I wanted to go.
Yep. 1000% agree. Out of there.
I'm seeing all these videos about vampires popping up on my TikTok For You page. And I never ever thought I would tell this story, at least in a public forum. But here goes. This is my vampire story. It still baffles my mind when I think that, say that, and I still get the creeps with the memory of any of this. And I'm going to be a little bit cryptic, if you get my drift, with regards to some of the experiences. But several decades ago, I had lost my job. I had just had my baby girl, so she's going to be 30 this year, so that's how long it's been. And I had gotten a job interview at a local business. Again, I'm not going to say what kind of business. And I went to this interview, and I immediately felt something odd with the owner of this business. There was something so mesmerizing about him. He wasn't good looking, but he was good looking. And it's hard to explain. Like, there was just something strange about him, and he just felt almost hypnotic. And he said, I'm interviewing for a couple more people, and I'll give you a call in a couple days and let you know if you get the job. Okay. I did get the job. A couple days later, he gave me a phone call, and he said, I am offering you this job at this pay. And it wasn't bad. The hours weren't bad. The pay wasn't bad. And I said, let me think about it. I had another offer on the table. And he said, please let me know by tomorrow. And I'm like, understood. So I had called my mom. And my mom was very intuitive, even though she didn't really want to admit that she was. And I told her, and I'm like, I got this job offer. And I didn't even tell her a lot of like the creepiness that this guy kind of gave me. And she's like, Christy, I have a really bad feeling. Do not accept this job. Do not accept the job. I'm telling you right now, something's not right. Do not accept this job. Now, this is a business that was in the person's family for a long time. And so it wasn't anything out of, it wasn't like a starter company. This person was kind of known in the community. My mom didn't know him, but so it was a substantial, real job. And I'm like, Mom, I don't understand. I need a job. She's like, you're going to get a job offer from that other place that you interviewed for. Just stick it out. Tell this guy no and accept the other job once it comes. And I'm like, this job was actually, it was pretty good. But I took my mom's advice and I called the gentleman the next day and I said, I'm so sorry. I am really honored, but I'm declining the job offer. And thank you very much for your time. And he's like, I will double your pay. Excuse me, sir? I will double your pay. Now, it already was good pay, but double the pay was a lot of pay. And I'm like, again, something felt really off. And I'm like, sir, I'm so sorry, I'm going to decline. And he's like, I'm going to check with you in a couple days. And there was just something very ominous about the way that he said it. And that night, I ended up having a dream with him in it. And it was very vampire-ish, is the only way that I can describe it. And the business that he was in also spoke volumes for him. So a couple days later, he called me, and I said, again, sir, I've accepted another job, and I did not tell him what to do. And he's like, I will triple your salary. And I'm like, I'm sorry, sir. And he said, I can tell that you are very psychic. And I can tell that you know who I am and what I am. And I think it would behoove you to take this job. Right. So I told him again, no thank you. And he said, okay. Now this was like, internet wasn't really a thing. Like, you couldn't really look people up. There was AOL chat and such like that, but you couldn't really look people up like you can now. And so I ended up accepting a job at a cabinet store and as an office manager. And I didn't hear from him, but I was still having these weird nightmares with him. And I'm like, it's just got to be in my head, right? But it was almost like he could read my mind. It was very strange. Well, guess who showed up at the kitchen store the second day that I started? Yeah, this guy. And it's like he knew that I was going to be there. He's like, hi, Christy. And I'm like, excuse me, are you stalking me? Like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I'm ordering a new kitchen for the business. Like, it was nothing. And he continued to come in my dreams. About a year later, I ended up taking a job at a fireplace store as an office manager. A couple days into that, this gentleman walks in and says, I need a new fireplace for my business. Excuse me? Now, I'm not going to say everything about the business and everything about him, but you might be able to figure it out with a clue. And that is, he lived above the business. That's all I'm going to say. So he's like, yep, I need a fireplace. And I'm like,
down.
sir, I don't understand why you're here. And he continued every time. He's like, would you like to work with me? I'm like, nope, I'm good. I'm good. I worked at the fireplace store for a couple of years. And he would every once in a while call and he would ask for the fireplace to be serviced, and I ended up telling my boss at the time like how I felt about him, and he would laugh and he's like, I'm going to send you out there with the temp. And I'm like, no you're not. But he was like, yeah, something's strange about this person. Something is almost like immortal. Even if you look at the family lineage, it's like he's existed before, and it wasn't like his great-great-grandfather. It was like him. So I ended up quitting a couple of years after that, and I worked for a school district. And guess who showed up?
Come on.
At the admin office.
Come on.
Yeah. And in the meantime, he's still coming in my dreams. And every once in a while, he's still calling me and asking me if I want a job. And no. my mom had passed away. I got a divorce. I mean, we are eons into this. And I ended up running into him at a store, and he, you know, like, do you remember everybody you interviewed, like, one time? Because he either has a really crazy memory, or it wasn't like a stalker. He just wasn't. That wasn't the case. It's just, again, it was very vampirous. And so I ran into him, and he's like, "Hi, Christine." And again, he's like, "How are you doing?" And it was just very kind of Norman Bates creepy. I ended up in the job that I'm in now. I'm a professional psychic medium. I ended up having to go to a competitor of his to work on a case. And we ended up talking about this gentleman and his business. And I didn't say anything, but the owner of this establishment went, just Christy, make sure you stay away from, because he's a vampire.
Nice.
And I didn't laugh, and she didn't laugh, and she knew I knew, and I knew she knew too.
We knew that they knew that we knew that she knew that he knew that
And they don't
she
necessarily
knew.
wear capes. Sometimes they wear business suits, and sometimes they invade your dreams. And I feel as if there was a possibility that my life at that time was a little bit crazy, and it was because of the psychic, sort of like vampire energy that he was sending me, because he was mad that I did not accept a job. I would love to tell you more, but I don't want to open up that can of bats.
Wait back. That was pretty creepy. Call back. Spooky kitty.
I can't believe they're making something like this. Hunt 10. Hunt 1. At least they're honest. I already stabbed myself on accident once too. I have to cut through the ghost. I have to cut through the ghost to open this. I'm sorry. You're watching Annihilation in real time. Actually, I don't even know why you made it this far, because you don't even know what's in this box. It might be absolutely not interesting at all to you. You predicted not. 1 minute of unboxing, 30 seconds of the product. Peanuts. It's actually just a box of packing peanuts. Supplies. Packaging, annoying. Goodbye. This is the Annabelle Exorcism playset.
Nice.
Real Bible and holy water with fun size. Rosary, it is accurate to Miss Girl. It's even got a real vintage doll in there. You can be a junior demonologist. Sounds safe. My little Bible. All of this absolutely fantastic artwork. Use the holy water, rosary beads, and Bible to cast out the ancient evil that lies within Annabelle.
Sweet.
I'm gonna tag the artist in the caption.
You got to. What in the world? Keep going, moving.
Why should you be afraid of the Fae? Well, I'm going to tell you some of the scariest things that they do. Because the Fae are enchanting, let's face it, but they have a much darker and sinister side as well. Some of these things I've already gone over. So changeling swaps, a Fae swaps one of their offspring for a human baby. That's terrifying. In many cases, the child of the parents of the humans is never seen again or might return years and years later. Secondly, are abducting humans and bringing them into the Fae realm, which might sound like some kind of fantasy. Okay, we're thinking Akatar, but it might not be Akatar. Okay, it might be something more sinister and terrifying. Think more Pan's Labyrinth. Okay, if you've seen that, remember this guy? It's pretty scary. Third, we've got the Dance of Madness. They're forcing you to dance, and maybe that sounds nice. Maybe you want to dance, but eventually you're going to get tired, and you're not going to want to dance. But you're not going to have a choice. Your body's just going to keep going until you just collapse from sheer exhaustion, or you die. And again, with the Dance of Madness, I have to bring up the town that danced itself to death. Like, were the Fae at play there? I need to know. Number 4, the Fae can cause you to literally lose your mind. They have the power to bewitch and enchant humans. They can drive you to madness or despair. This could involve something like leading you through a dark forest in circles for days, causing you to hear voices that aren't there, or making you obsess over something until you completely just lose your sanity. Fae can also glamour you so that you are looking at something and thinking that it is beautiful when it's actually something hideous and horrifying and sinister. Number 5, they can drain your life force, drain your vitality, which is very vampiric in nature. But some Fae are believed to drain the life force or vitality from humans. It could be something that they do slowly, making you weaker and sicker as time goes on, or it might happen quickly, causing you to collapse or pass away after just a single quick encounter. In some stories, the Fae drain others to sustain their own life force and magic. Number 6, the Fae can curse and hex you, but this can be like long-term suffering we're talking. They might place a curse or a hex on you because you've offended them in some way, you've upset them in some way, knowingly or unknowingly. They can cause disease, misfortune in general, infertility, emotional torment like nightmares, depression, inability to find happiness. You might just live the rest of your days in misery with no clear understanding of what is causing your suffering. I feel attacked. Number 7, we've got stealing souls. In folklore, there is a belief that the Fae have the ability to steal your soul. This would leave a person as a hollow shell, wandering aimlessly without purpose or joy. The Fae might keep your soul in their realm and use it to empower themselves or trade it or sell it with other supernatural beings. If your soul is stolen, it is possible that you might just waste away. Number 8, they can entrap you in time loops. Endless repetition. Fae are depicted as trapping people in time loops, where you are forced to relive the same day or event over and over and over and over. You might not even realize that you're trapped at first, but eventually might start to notice the repetition. The Fae might also lure you to your death. The Fae are known to guide humans to their doom. This might mean leading you to dangerous terrain like cliffs, swamps, fast-moving rivers, or convincing you to undertake a task that is simply impossible, while making you believe like it's easy. The Fae might disguise this terrain or this task as something appealing or harmless, and when you realize its true nature, it's too late for you to escape. In some Fae lore, the Fae have the ability to transform you into something not human, like an animal or a fish or an insect, or even inanimate objects. This could be a punishment for some offense that you've caused them, or it could just be done for their amusement. You could be forced to retain your consciousness while simultaneously forced to live out your day as a rock or a tree, or maybe something better like a bird, hopefully. But they are also rumored to be able to bind you to their world, meaning you wind up in the Fae realm somehow and are unable to leave, or you become so enchanted by the Fae that you lose all desire to return to the human realm. The human might start to completely forget their past life, becoming more and more like the Fae until they are indistinguishable from them. Another one is feasting on flesh. There are tales of Fae who like to devour humans. Bad news bears. These stories often involve the Fae luring humans to their home or their lair under false pretenses or pretenses of hospitality, only to reveal their true monstrous nature once it's too late. And the last terrifying thing that the Fae might do is give you something at a terrible cost. For instance, eternal youth. In some legends, Fae offer eternal youth or beauty, but at a terrible price. Your soul in return might be bound to the Fae realm, or you might be subject to endless torment or servitude. The Fae can be terrifying. Anyways, that's it for this one. See you next time.
Thanks.
This is probably the clearest spirit apparition video that I've ever watched.
I've seen it. I've seen it. I'm going in there.
just give up on the vlog. It wasn't gonna be public. It wasn't to look out for footage. It was celebrating.
She accidentally filmed herself falling to her grave. This girl named Arina was having a great night out with one of her friends, who was just singing and walking down the street. But little did she know this would end up with her passing away, as the street she was walking down was unfortunately this one. Now there is barely a curb that prevents people from falling down this passageway.
On July 16th of 2024, a man named JB is home alone in his living room watching TV with his dog, when he starts to hear some disturbing sounds coming from upstairs. Now, it's not the first time this has happened, as he has since moved houses, and whatever this is followed him. As he goes upstairs to have a look, he captures this.
Those damn noises again. Welcome to my life. Hello? Hello? I'm by myself.
Poor thing. Sounds like a specimen of health. Dude took 3 steps. What the hell?
Hello? Hello? Shit. I'm coming in.
He didn't lay your shit in his face. There's El Robati. Break.
Swore I saw somebody in there.
No more sugary cereal before bed.
Nightmare Fuel just shared this extremely creepy video. So in this video, y'all, this woman is saying, oh, it's back, it's back, it's in the other room, it's back. And
What
there's
the hell?
this thing peeking at her
It's a cow?
around the curtain of her door. So many people in the comments are saying, oh, it's just a mountain lion, it's a big cat. Some people even said that it was a calf.
Yeah,
But the
it's a
woman
cow.
is saying that it's in the other room. Now, I don't know if maybe it's like an enclosed patio or she's just got a door with a deadbolt to another room.
What the hell?
But I don't think that that's a cat or a cow. I'm not sure what this thing is, especially if it's at her house and she doesn't know what it is. She keeps saying that her house is haunted.
What in the world?
And that thing is definitely creepy. Look, like right here, it shows its like front teeth and it has like bug teeth. I definitely don't think that it's a mountain lion, though. What do you guys think about this? The thing is horrifying. What the?
That's just Fred, the neighborhood drunk.
I asked some of my haunted dolls if they had any advice for me while I was meeting the actual Annabelle doll today. Here's what they said.
Yes, he's sorry. Yeah, that's spooky. Don't care too much for dolls.
This is a terrifying ghost story. We're new here, hi. I usually talk about some pretty scary stuff, and recently I opened an email where everyone could send their personal ghost stories in, and let me tell you, not only have I been getting a lot of ghost stories that I have wholeheartedly loved reading from every corner of the world, these are actually terrifying, and this is one of them. This story comes from someone who would like to remain anonymous, and for obvious reasons I'm going to respect that. This person starts off their email by telling me that during their sophomore year of high school, the school that she went to did this like religious retreat for a week. It's particularly important to understand the layout of the building that they were staying in. And the way that this building looks in my head from the description is right when you walk in the main doors, there is a flight of stairs that leads obviously to the second floor, which has on the left side the women's quarters and on the right side the men's quarters. These are both long hallways on each end of the building, and at the end of each hallway are bathrooms, and along the sides of the hallway are the rooms. But a lot of people actually were complaining that this place felt really weird, and a lot of people were really uneasy. And what's funny is, her and her friends were actually joking that the building was haunted. We're going to talk about 4 incidents that happened during the duration of the week that they were staying there. This first incident happened when her and her friend both needed to shower. They were walking towards the locker room situation, and everyone else is outside playing volleyball. They get to the door for the bathroom, and it is locked. They're trying to open the door because it should not be locked because they are the only 2 in the building. They get so frustrated, they go downstairs, get a teacher, bring her back upstairs, and the door is open. And at this point, the teacher is like, why are you guys pranking me? And they insisted that they weren't. And they were so sure that it was locked that one of them went into the bathroom and locked the door while the other tried to get into the bathroom, and the door wouldn't lock from the inside. The second incident happened to her English teacher. Now, I'm not really sure how the school is split up, but they were essentially doing study hall, but it wasn't her teacher's session, so she was in her room. So this teacher was in charge of the session, so she went up to her room and decided to lay down. This is where it gets weird. The teacher wakes up suddenly because she's hearing something coming from her closet, and it is her hangers swinging back and forth. No wind, no way for wind to get into the closet. And her part 2 experience is the following night, or sometime during the week, she woke up to the sound of someone walking in the hallway at night, woke up and there were a pair of feet outside of her door, and she could see under the door, gets up, opened the door, no one is there. And the third and fourth incident happened in the same night, and the author of this email says that this is what made her believe that there was not just one spirit haunting this place. So like every night, they would do nightly study sessions, and after their study hall, they're all hanging out outside of this classroom, teachers, students, whatever, and they had a whiteboard that sat outside. So the girls decide to huddle next to this whiteboard and take a photo outside. And what these girls see in the photo, I have goosebumps, you can't see, but I do. They see in this photo this man holding onto the side of the whiteboard and peeking around. And the way that it looks in my head is like he's barely peeking out. So they got scared and deleted the photo. They all went to bed. But this girl who sent me the story and her 4 friends decided to stay up and tell scary stories in this building. And this is where she specifically states that
this building was kind of like a dorm layout where there's only 2 beds per room, and they were in her room telling these stories. All of her friends grabbed the pillows that they had in their rooms and brought them in, and they put the 2 beds together so they could all like sit on the bed. And 2 of her friends had a room right next to the shower and the toilets, and as they were getting their stuff, they hear these girls start to scream. Well, everyone floods out to the halls, and they're asking these girls, like, what is going on? And these girls start to say that they saw a woman. The hair on my neck is standing up.
Oh,
they saw a woman walking in front of the doorway, smiling at them. And the girl who sent me this story says that her and her other friend that were waiting for those 2 to come back thought it was a joke, and they started laughing. When all of a sudden, another girl who was not a part of the group shouts, "What the F is that?" and points to the other side of the hallway. And as soon as she says that, the lights go out. So the author of the story didn't see what that girl was pointing out. However, she did see the lights flickering and then go out right after she said, "What is that?" So she knows that it was real. And when this girl was interrogated about what she saw, she said she saw a woman on the other side of the hallway peeking around the corner, smiling. And the girl who told them what she saw did not see the man that was behind the whiteboard. And that is when her and her friends started to freak out. So her and her friends grab flashlights, and they go investigate this room where this woman was seen. They walk in, and it's just this poor girl still asleep. She has no idea what's going on. And that woman was standing in a room. That's just how this girl ends her story. She doesn't tell me how she left. She doesn't tell me anything else. All she says at the end of her email is that she has to go back to this camp in 3 weeks because they do another retreat. And that she's going to bring holy water and other religious things to keep her safe.
Okay, kids. And just like that, we've come to the end of another Dappers Playhouse session. Day number 8, Spooktober. I appreciate all you stopping by and checking it out. I know it's been a long one. Playhouse is going to be on the verge of another hurricane, so we'll see how we fare. Perhaps I will talk to you tomorrow. Perhaps I will not. We'll see how it goes. I think it's supposed to start later tomorrow night, so tomorrow's probably good. We'll see after that. Do me a favor, if you can't be good, be bad. And remember, you're never too old to play. I'll catch you on the flip side.